grew up in a family that worked in funeral homes and mortuaries all my life,
Right.
and I ended up opening up one of my own, and I've seen and heard things at different mortuaries and not only there but my own too, and
In the unseen world that exists parallel to our own, whispers of the past float, untouched, unseen, and unheard. But in the shadowy veil of the unknown, some dare to tread, to listen, to understand. This is the world of paranormal investigation. Picture a world where the past intertwines with the present, where forgotten souls linger, trapped within the echoes of their former lives. This is the realm unbound by the chains of time, a realm that exists just beyond our sight, beyond our comprehension. Hey guys, before we get into it, if you could please like and subscribe, it would really help the channel out, and share on all social media. The Supernatural Quest Seekers are made up of Austin and Teddy, aka Big Papa Fluff. Both are dedicated researchers. They meticulously decode the historical significance of the sites they investigate and employ a unique approach to sense the lingering energies at these locations. Together they form a paranormal powerhouse, fearlessly navigating the shadowy realms that most dare not tread. Their investigations have led them to the notorious Haunted Hill House, a site seeping with spine-tingling tales of unique spirits. They've also ventured into the eerie halls of the Fairfield County Infirmary, where whispers of its dark past resonate with tales of forgotten souls. Austin and Teddy's journeys don't stop there. They've walked the chilling corridors of old Licking County Jail and stood in the foreboding presence of Bobby Mackey's sinister spirits, and endured the daunting aurora of Donna Ana County Courthouse and Jail. Each place brimming with a ghostly narrative that leaves even the most hardened skeptics pondering the otherworldly. Austin and Teddy are more than just investigators. They are storytellers, historians, and brave explorers of the unknown. Guys, thanks for joining me. How are you guys doing today?
good, good, man.
So, thank you for coming on to here with us. I appreciate it. Appreciate the short notice. As the filming of this, I actually just uploaded the first episode of the reboot today. Austin's got a little sneak peek at it, but don't tell anybody. I'm just kidding. No,
I know when I first started seeing it, I was like, wait, I don't see it on the channel. I'm like, oh, this is just
yeah. Well, it was easier to share it that way with people instead of like uploading it to I just uploaded as private and then just sent the link out to people just to kind of like get reactions, see if anybody. There was other stuff I was waiting on. Dude, the final version's way better, but that was just like what I had done, and I wanted to get it out there so people give me some feedback. Let's dive right in, man. I had the pleasure of going on your guys' show last year. I think it was around August, September timeframe. Dude, yes.
Right?
I was just telling Teddy, man, like your guys' show is like grown, man. Like it's freaking awesome to see it. Like the quality, everything about it. Not that you guys had bad quality, but just like the steps you've taken to like really improve it. Like it's super cool,
definitely with the last one going to the Fairfield County Infirmary. I really wanted to try to make it like look like, I don't know, just have a better polished look.
Yeah, for sure, man. When we last spoke, we got into some hot topics that I thought were really awesome, and I kind of would like to start back up that same way. Like, if you guys can just kind of explain to me how you've come into this world of paranormal investigation and kind of what the paranormal is to you.
You want to go first, Ted?
No, I'll let you go first. Yeah.
I see myself as someone just like trying to explore the unknown and what is out there. I don't really believe in one set thing, whether it's spirits or some type of energy that manifests itself. I would say like I've always been curious, and weird things happen as I've happened to myself as I've grown up, and just made me want to look into the unknown, see what's out there.
Yeah, it's kind of similar for me too. I mean, when I was younger, growing up, being at my grandparents' house and stuff, I would see and hear like different things, and I'd always ask them questions about, stuff that happened, and they were always just like, "Oh, well, it's so and so," or it's like your great grandma, stuff like that. And I got fascinated. I didn't necessarily get too scared. It was really intriguing to me. And when we lived in Kentucky when I was younger, I saw some stuff there, heard some stuff there at a house that we lived at. It's super creepy. And I've always just been fascinated with like just anything that has to do with like supernatural or like UFOs, like astronomy, just like cryptids, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It's always been like an attraction to me. And
You've always just been seeking a supernatural quest.
yeah, there you
He
go,
said the
man.
thing.
I
He
mean,
said the
shoot,
thing.
like honestly, like yeah, and I grew up in a family that worked in funeral homes and mortuaries all my life, and
Right.
I ended up opening up one of my own, and I've seen and heard things at different mortuaries and not only there but my own too, and I was always just like, man, like what brings this to this point where we start seeing and noticing, things and hearing stuff? Because like, is it actually something or someone that's trying to reach out to us, make their presence known? Like, are they needing help? Are they trying to get us to kind of interact with them? Maybe there's something that they want to tell us, and that's what we kind of try to do on the investigations. Also, not only like we read up on the history of the location that we're at, but like we ask questions. We try to see what what entities we can talk to and try to have some type of conversation with to get some answers to why that certain spirit's there, you know?
Right. You know, I think the history really is important when you're going into these investigations because I think we talked about this before too on your guys' show, where I said kind of there's two types of haunting. There's like a residual haunting, and then there's kind of like the spirit that's fully kind of there. And it helps you break down those things and I think create like a scientific method for which one is which. Is this some traumatic event that, left a mark where, like I said before, the lady's going up the stairs or she's reoccurring versus an actual kind of spirit stuck. And I think those historical events kind of tie you into that to feel those out while you're there.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And then sometimes it's kind of hard to distinguish, which one's which,
Yeah.
You kind of just have, like, for me, like in the moment while I'm there at whatever place we're investigating, whatever feelings that I get personally kind of lets me know,
Yeah.
like even like so some of the places we've been to, like there's places where I feel like instantly, like right when we're pulling up or right when we're inside a location, I'll feel like like a heaviness sometimes. Sometimes I won't feel anything till I get to a certain area. But I mean, like I've the whole range of different emotions that anybody can feel. Like we've felt those depending on where we're at. So
I know I remember now we left out a place. We left out Yorktown Memorial. We were also been there.
oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
totally
There we
forgot about
go.
that. I knew I was forgetting something.
Okay. Well, hey, leading off into places you've been, like, tell us about your experience there, like at Yorktown Memorial. First of all, it's one that I'm not familiar with. So if you guys can enlighten me, like where it's at and some of the stories with it, man.
What do you think, like, Teddy, after Yorktown Memorial, do you think there was something sinister there that caused everything to happen as we left?
I definitely, man. Like honestly, when I was there were certain points throughout the facility where I kind of felt something, but it wasn't anything like super intense or anything like that. It was I felt there it was more like curiosity with whatever spirits were there were kind of just curious to see what we are doing or kind of just hanging out in the background, watching us.
Mm-hmm.
Um Definitely didn't feel nothing like malicious or anything like that until we left. Like instantly right when we left is just a string of just bad luck, and I feel mainly it was, some of the things that I said while I was there. Like I was at one point just super frustrated because we weren't really getting anything too much, and I started antagonizing, the spirits a lot. And I think, they kind of left their impression on me after, and I just like to the point where I actually wanted to go back multiple times just to apologize,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
man.
know. It's like it's now it's like a joke, like when we go on other investigations, like, like don't piss off an experience like you did the nuns over there.
Oh, so you mean apologize to the spirits, not to the people. Okay. Okay. So what
Yeah,
happened with this?
definitely.
It made you feel like that?
So,
Well,
like Yorktown Memorial, sorry, we kind of like dove right into it, but Yorktown Memorial is a hospital in this little small town of Texas, and basically it was ran by nuns, and there was I think it was a drug rehab too for one time, right? It was a drug rehab.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
served like a lot of purposes, but mainly it was like a clinic, a hospital. I mean, at one point, at a certain time, it was kind of like a little makeshift orphanage. But it has a lot of history. You know, for the small town that Yorktown, Texas is, it was pretty. You know, it had a lot of history because it's not too far away from San Antonio. So like it was like an hour or something like that. And then there's other smaller towns around it too, but like it served as a major location for all those smaller towns and communities to go to, like if you needed any type of medical care.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah, and before, like, it was crazy, so, like, it was kinda quiet the whole time, and then we started, like, taunting, trying to see if we can get some action, and then as we were leaving, we didn't say a prayer, like, we usually say this prayer every time before we leave, and that one time we forgot. I don't know why I think we went to go, like, lock up with the guy, and we disregarded, forgot it, and not even 15 minutes down the road, a deer comes out of nowhere, and we slam right into it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was just weird the way it happened, you know,
'Cause it just, like, came out of nowhere.
like to because I was the one that was driving. It was just like when I was going towards it, it just looked like just like a blob in the middle of the road, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" And then I started slowing down to see what it was, and then instantly, like it just morphed into like a damn deer, and then it looked sideways at me, and even the eyes didn't even look like they looked like a grayish color.
Dude.
And then like I didn't have time to react. Like I slammed on the brakes, and then I tried to swerve, but I didn't want to swerve too much because I didn't want to flip the vehicle over, and then just boom, you know, like it was just so fast, and like I remember just seeing it like flying through the air, and I never even thought land or anything like that. Like we just kept going. I was like, dude, we're in the middle of nowhere. We
Right.
have to get back, you know, as close to a major city as possible before this vehicle breaks down. And we actually got like, I say maybe like another 25 to 30 miles, man, before the vehicle just completely died out.
Dude. And see, everybody thinks the paranormal is just in these like places, right? Like it's like just the ghosts and it's just the demons at the scary old dilapidated building. But it's like, dude, all that like what you just explained is kind of what I believe. It's all tied together. Like there's something that is supernatural about it. You know, it's something that is woven throughout the fiber of the universe that connects us all.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I mean, even like when other places we've gone to, I think the most out of all the investigations that we've done, though, like there's only been two locations that I've been to that I felt just like a real darkness, and that was at the Black Swan, in the Milk Barn, and then the Hill House in Mineral Wells, Texas.
So
I think those are like the worst ones.
let's get into the Hill House, man. Like, what is the experience that happened to you there that like changed your any of your beliefs or validated any of your beliefs in the paranormal?
Well, first, I mean, like I was just looking, I was googling places that maybe were kind of close by to where I'm at in El Paso to investigate, because out here there's not really a lot, you know, that we can go investigate and look up. And I just happened to fall across the Hill House in Mineral Wells, and I started watching some videos, and a lot of them were at first were just like news clippings of local news stations that did like a quick, you know, 2 3 minute story on the location. And then I found one. It was a radio DJ out there, and it was when the location was up for sale, and he was thinking about buying the property. So he went out there to go check it out, and he was just like super freaked out with what happened while he was there. And he was like, "Nope, I don't need this in my life," you know.
Yeah.
And the current owners ended up buying the house, and they've ran it for like I think like the last 6 7 years. But what caught my attention the most was the demonic spirit that they have there. It was just, and they have a picture of it. He's kind of creeping out of the corner next to a girl, like a quick Polaroid that they took, and you could see him like just smiling. You could see like the horns in his head coming out, and just had like a really creepy smile, and it just intrigued me a lot. So I started reading up on it. I started watching more videos, like anything I could find about this location. I was just looking for it. Like I was dead set on learning as much about this place as possible, and I felt so attracted to wanting to go there. And I've never had that feeling before anywhere else that we've gone to.
Okay.
Like I was almost like to the point where I was obsessed with this place, and that's all I wanted to do was read up on it and watch whatever I could on it. And like I just couldn't shut up about this place. Like,
I know, man. You've been trying to con everybody else to go in there too.
dude, that's how it goes. Like, dude, that's how it goes. Once you go somewhere, it's like your spot, right? And like we all say, it's the most haunted till we go to the next place. You know what I mean? Like Mansfield Reformatory was the most haunted place I'd been till I went to Waverly Hills, and it's like they just keep stacking and just keep, it all adds up, man. Like it's all kind of like the same song, and it all rhymes together. Like the same things happen at each of these locations. But Teddy, you said something, right? You live in El Paso?
yeah, I live in El Paso.
Dude, that was a lie, man. Your credibility's crushed, dude, because Fort Caveso or ex-Fort Hood, man, that place has got to be haunted as hell.
When there's places here, but like I went out to a couple locations around here that are kind of like in El Paso County and checked them out.
Yeah.
I don't want to try to discredit anybody with what they're trying to do, but like I didn't feel nothing.
I feel like they're all scamming out there.
I was just joking because of how many people go to Fort Hood and die, but not to make light of that. But in the Army, and Austin's being in the Army. Was it at Fort Hood?
No, Fort Hood is
Fort Hood's by Killeen, no?
Okay, that's clean. My bad. Look at me, dude. I don't even know the spot, but yeah, Fort Hood.
Yeah, we got it's Bliss over there. But yeah, it I don't know. I feel like the whole like paranormal investigation stuff in El Paso is just like, I feel like it's not. I don't know. I don't want to say nothing to down anybody.
I mean, there's definitely like a lot of history here, anywhere, like in all throughout this place, but I just don't feel like there. I mean, if there's something there, it just wants to be left alone,
Yeah, well, and I hear what you guys are saying. It's just a weird topic, when you try to pick and choose. I'm not saying you are, but when we talk about like that, like I told you guys before, like I don't really believe in cryptids, but it's something I'm starting to believe into. It's like you can't really like I feel like you can't pick and choose because it's hard, because then you're arguing why your point is valid on this spot you would do, and somebody's like, this house down in El Paso, which I mean, there's places I go and I'm like, man, I don't think there's shit here, but that's like what I used to love about taps, man, or the ghost hunters. Like they'd be in there with like a EFM meter, like, oh, it's your pipe, dude. Like it's not a ghost. But then there'd be episodes where they're like, yeah, dude, this place is haunted. So, but and then again, I think it goes back to us being like frequencies. Some places like we are like resonating at the same frequency as that place, and maybe some places I go, I feel nothing, and some places I go, I feel like I'm freaking got a sixth sense.
Yeah, definitely. Like when we were in, what was the last one that we went to, Austin?
Fairfield County Infirmary?
Yeah, when we were at Fairfield, it was weird because certain spots in that building, I could feel something. And then what was super weird to me is, remember I think we're up on the second floor and we were walking up that ramp and we heard that noise and everyone thought everyone thought it was me.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, like this thing straight came out of the corner and like just in our face, like boom. And I was like, wait, no, come on, let's play, man. Like, come on, don't just growl at us and then take off, And it was weird because like every time I left a room, or when we were going back downstairs to where we had everything set up, I always felt like there was someone just behind me, like kind of just like jumping around. And I was just like, oh man, like it was such an uneasy feeling. Like I was just like, I don't want to be the last one walking behind everybody else because like this thing's just messing with me right now.
Right. So what's kind of the historical background on the infirmary? Like what gives it its kind of haunted reputation?
So it was basically like a hospital. Well,
was like a poorhouse where anybody in the city that was like poor, didn't have enough money, didn't have medical care.
I was about to say, dude, you're gonna have to explain a poorhouse. We're from the Midwest, dude. We know what that is. Like other people were like, a poorhouse, what is that? Or we cancel culture, dude. Like they don't even know what that means.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's where it kind of got its history from. There's also a gravesite in the back, and it's just I don't know how many bodies do you remember, Teddy? They said were back there, and they were buried like perpendicular.
Oh, dude, I know for sure it was a couple hundred. But from where they did the ground penetrating radar, I think they picked up like maybe what was it, like 12 to 15?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that were just like buried straight up.
Yeah,
Like on top of each other?
like next to each other.
Oh, okay.
Just like
Dude.
Just like
Yeah,
not buried regular. They were buried like straight up, like
Like
sitting
standing up?
upright.
Dude.
Yeah.
What? That's like some freaky voodoo curse right there, so you can have a rest, dude.
Yeah,
Bruh.
yeah.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
It was wild.
Okay.
there was definitely some stuff that happened there. But now it's gotten to the point where like if we go somewhere and I feel like if it doesn't add up to like what we've experienced at other hot spots, we're kind of just like, I don't know if something's here, because we're always looking for that like crazy amount of stuff to happen at some of these spots, and then sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
Yeah.
only like little things happen here and there, and you're just like, oh man.
Definitely
glad
trying to
you-
one up the next one.
I'm glad you said that too, because like my two major investigations at at OHR or Ohio OSR, sorry, and Waverly were completely different, man. Like OSR was extremely like active, and so was Waverly. It was just in a different way. So like I had to change my expectations of what I was getting, right? And that's kind of like the nuance of I feel like of paranormal investigation, man. Is like you watch Ghost Adventures or these TV shows or read the book, and it's always hype. But then there's times where you're just like, dude, like there's nothing going on here. And it's right before you go to turn something off, something happens, or you're just like, dude, this is kind of boring. I got to be here for 12 hours, dude. Like it's like a whole job now, man.
Have you read into any of the Ghost Adventures drama lately?
Oh, with him and Nick, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
Zach, and then was it Destination Fear? He had Destination Fear canceled, and then that whole thing going
And he was
on,
like
and now they're
craziness, dude. Crazy. It's like high school drama, man. It's like coming up, and then like Nick finally released stuff on Twitter, like I'm gonna tell you why. But one thing I actually watched one of their episodes recently because, dude, when you guys went to Licking County Jail, and I'm gonna tell you what's weird. Ever since I live in Florida right now, there's a ton of Ohio license plates, right? And you know how at the bottom of the Ohio license plate has the county. And I saw one that said Butler the other day. I'm like, oh, dude, Butler County. But I've seen like 15 Licking County plates, and I'm like, dude, that's so weird. But
There you go.
I got so jealous when I saw that you guys went to Licking County Jail. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go back and watch. I saw your guys' stuff there, and it was freaking awesome. I'm like, dude, I got to do more research on this place. I'm like, at least gonna talk about it. And I went back and watched their episode, and I'm like, man, these jokers over here, dude, them, not you. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I feel like you're gonna.
I want to go back to that place. Absolutely, 100%. Need to go back there. Like that place has unfinished business.
Let me know when I will be there. I will 100% be there. But
Yeah, we completely forgot about the first floor, man. Like we're so focused on the basement and other like the fourth
floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like when I went up there alone and I heard that voice, like I'll never like forget that. Like that was just so insane to hear like a voice almost right next to me, and then it was on video as well.
So kind of go through your night there, man. Like what was popping off there?
You want to start, Ted?
Well, I mean, we got there, we did the tour, like even just like the drive, because it was like an hour and a half drive from where we were at. Because we did Bobby Mackey's the night before.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then then the next night we went over to Licking County, and it was just
That's on the other side of Columbus. That's like a 5-hour drive, right? Dude.
when we pulled up, like it was just like, damn, like we're here, like the place looked super creepy.
Yeah.
And we got down, we did the tour. Just seeing like just the rawness of the building on the inside was something. And hearing the stories from each certain jail cells to what happened in there, and just the history of like the town and everything,
Yeah.
it was very, very interesting. But once we got in there and we started to investigate, we had split up. And I think Austin and Marlene did the basement, and me and Jessica were up on the fourth floor. And we got some good stuff up there, on the fourth floor, especially with the S box. A lot of voices, a lot of I'd ask a question, I'd get an answer type thing.
Right.
And then once we all met back up, I was super focused. I think it was on the fifth floor, the fifth or the third floor. There's like a shadow hallway. I was so focused on trying to get a shadow spirit to come out. And that, when I was there, I felt something touch my back. And at that time, I figured it was just maybe one of the jail cells I
Right.
kind of rubbed up against. Like they have like a square joint that kind of attaches to the wall where the cell swings open, and I thought I brushed up against that. But when I turned around and looked, I was like 2 feet away from the wall, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna continue.
Yeah.
Because I had my wife with me, and I was like, definitely don't want to freak her out. And,
Dude.
That was that same night we all got touched too, basically. I mean, that's when, like, I remember we were in the basement and I felt something like kind of scrape the back on my back, and I disregarded it, I ignored it, and like 5 seconds later, Marlene gets up and says something touched her leg.
yeah,
Right after I felt like I got touched on my back, and I was like, "You're kidding, right? Like something just touched me," and we're right next to each other.
That's always weird whenever you when you're like, oh, and you always try to rationalize it too, like I bumped into this thing, or was that, and you turn around and you're like, dude, no, that was nothing, and I was touched.
yeah, it was crazy because the way we were set up down there in the basement, they had a table already set up, and I was already kind of feeling uneasy about being down there.
Right.
And the way I positioned myself, I put one of the chairs up against the wall, like kind of cornerized, so I could see behind us, which was just a wall with a window. And then I could, directly in front of me, I could see Austin and Marlene sitting across from me, and then I could see the rest of the front. But I kept looking behind me because I felt like something was just there. And that's when I positioned my chair kind of up against the wall. I was like, if anything comes from over here, like I'm gonna be ready for it, like I don't want nothing coming from behind me. I'd rather see something coming. And then right after that, that's when Austin got touched. And then immediately after that, that's when Marlene got touched. And then I was just like, damn, man. I'm so glad that I had my chair up against the wall.
Yeah.
It was definitely down there was, you could feel that there was some type of presence there that didn't want us to be there.
Yeah, I mean, even on the other side of the cell, we had that when I was doing the S-Box session, you can clearly hear get out and then sit down as well while we were down there.
Yeah.
I just want to say, any listener or watcher or watching right now or listening, go watch the Haunted Hill House episode with Teddy. Your face, dude, I don't know if it's because it's in the dark or what, but you're stone cold. And I'm like, man, this dude's brave for putting his face on. I would have like all kinds of scared faces. I would be freaking out. And dude, you're just like sitting in a room where they're like, this is the hell bathroom. And you're just like, anybody here? That's the closet with the demon. I'm like, dude, I couldn't even be that still there. I'd be like, I'm always like voice cracking and shit.
Yeah, man, like that place, I want to go back so bad. Like I feel like I have to go back because I have to prove to myself like whatever's there, it just got me so uneasy to the point where like I had to physically just stop investigating. Like I felt so drained, and like whatever was doing that's what its purpose was. Like I feel like it was just toying with me like by myself because nobody else was getting the feelings that I got, like it was very creepy, but I felt like whatever spirit was doing that was like singling me out.
Right.
And at a lot of points where I would just be sitting there and I'm just like, okay, like try to build up the nerve to go up to the second floor because that's like the hot spot.
Right.
Every time like I would even have a thought or when I would say out loud, okay, let's get ready to go, like it was just like boom, like in my face, like taunting me. Like at one point, like it was calling me like all types of names, and I was just like, God, man, you suck. Like,
Yeah.
why? And I was like literally to the point where like even the owners, because they have cameras set up, and they're like, "What happened? Like you guys just stopped for like 3 hours," and that was kind of just me just trying to build up the nerve to continue to investigate because
You couldn't even go up to the second floor again, right? Like,
no, man. Like I kept telling my dude, I was so gung ho about this place. Like before we went out there, when you're there, it's a whole unnerving feeling.
What
Like when
happened
you
on the
walk into
stairs?
that door,
When you guys were going upstairs there, after you left the room where the closet and the hell bathroom, I remember something happening when you're going upstairs. Like either something like called out to you, or somebody was like, you saw something there, like coming around.
dude, there's there's just so many things.
Yeah.
We could hear footsteps like when we were downstairs coming from the second floor. They had a speaker box set up to an S box, which kind of just blared out throughout the whole house. Like you could hear everything, everything any spirit was saying. You know,
It's like
And-
free range. Like they're just out there,
Yeah.
like spirits are out there
and,
just
and
calling.
we checked it to make sure like it wasn't hooked up to anything else. Like it's whatever's coming through that box is what you're dealing with there at that house. You
Yeah.
know, and a lot of the times it was just growls and grunts and sometimes it was children voices coming out, but the majority of it was that demonic spirit there, Toby, that he just messes with you so much, dude. Like this thing, and I don't even like this is how bad it is. I don't even like saying the name of this demon because I don't want it coming here to my house.
Right.
Like that was my biggest fear, was having something residual come back from this location and just mess with me here because I mean I don't want that. you
Right.
know? And like let's put it this way. One of the main things that the owner said while we were there is please don't make any text messages or phone calls to any loved ones because whatever's here can travel to that person and torment them.
Wow.
So like I was just like, my wife was like, do not call me or text me. Like when you get back to the Airbnb, like then maybe we could talk. She's like, but honestly, like when you get back, we can talk because I don't want to talk to you like the whole time you're out there.
Yeah.
Loki, you're over at Magic City or something.
Like even after we came back, man, because I think we left like at 8 a.m. We all slept in the living room together. You know, like I was just like so freaked out. I was like, I'm definitely not staying in my room at the Airbnb by myself because if something crazy happens, like
I
was
call
like,
that the paranormal hangover, dude. Like you come out of somewhere high like that, then you go back to your hotel and you're like, this fucking place is haunted. It was built last year.
Yeah, man. Like it was so intense, and I definitely want to go back because I feel like I have to do better. As an investigator, I have to not try to let those feelings like overtake me. Like I have to go and try to get some answers or some type of footage, not only for myself, but like people that view our channel. Like that, this is one of the main reasons why we started doing this is because we want to show proof that there is something after death.
Yeah.
And that place just like I feel like I didn't do my job there, and I have to go back, like, and just get what I was supposed to get when I was there the first time.
Yeah, man. I totally
I
understand that.
I hate talking about it because I feel like I let myself down and like a lot of people down because of how the way things played out. But like I know eventually I'm gonna go back. Like I'm so eager to go back there, but also I can wait.
Yeah. I think I told you guys about this last time we talked. I had an experience similar to that at Mansfield where like I got freaking punked by a spirit there, man. Like I was sitting in a chair and it pushed me out and like, dude, that kind of like ruined the whole rest of the investigation for me. Like I was kind of shook to my core. Like, dude, I was like just physically assaulted in a way by a ghost, dude. So I totally understand that feeling like
Anytime you're touched, anytime you like anytime that it gets to the point where it's like something physically comes out of you, you just a feeling you can't even, it's hard to explain. Like, it's just like puts you in a place where you're just like, whoa, like something just happened that I cannot explain.
One
Like,
dude, like, all the people that are like non-believers that are like, oh yeah, dude, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. They never go to like the heavy hitting places, like like the Hill House or Licking County Jail. They go to like the local folklore like bridge where some girl was
Yeah.
pushed off and like nothing happened. So then they use that as a source to discredit it all. And it's like, no, go to some of these places where there's actually historic paranormal activity that's been documented, dude. And like you will understand like how humbling and how it can stop you in your tracks, man. But Austin,
Yeah, definitely.
being from like the Cincinnati area like we are, man, I wanted to ask you how was Bobby Mackey's? Because that's kind of one like we're right there, and everybody and their brother talks about that growing up, man. Like what how was the experience there for you to finally go?
I'd have to go back.
Really?
I don't know. It was honestly, it was kind of a letdown. I think we went into it watching all the Ghost Adventure videos, times they went there, and just got super hyped for it. And when we got there, nothing at all happened.
Really?
Nothing. Like, there wasn't even a sense of like something being there. Like, nothing happened. And I don't know if it's because we had such a big group when we went. Maybe that was why. So like, if I was to go back, I'd go back with like 2 or 3 people and then see how it goes. Because there was just too much stuff, like convoluting evidence. Like, you could hear people walking upstairs in our group while we were downstairs. People would talk loudly. You could hear it. It was just too much going on.
Right. For sure. How about you,
Yeah,
Teddy?
there
What
was
was it?
there was like there was what, like 8 of us there, 7 or 8
Yeah.
of us there, and it's a small location, you know. Um, I definitely feel like there's some presence there. Um, I just think that like how Austin was saying, like there was just our group was too big, man, and like at certain times we were kind of just joking around a lot because we weren't getting anything really, and we were all over that place. Like if we split up and we're upstairs, people downstairs would hear us, walking around. The crazy thing is, like even like at one point we were down, like I don't know if it's like considered the basement or like just the lower part of the building.
The dungeon looking
What
one.
Yeah, they had that hole, like
The hole where the baby
the
got
portal to hell and shit. And like I was just like, oh, it's just like a collapsed foundation, and there's just like a bunch of termites and stuff, coming out of it. Like I didn't feel nothing, and then they had like this kind of like little closet room where they had a chair set up, and you go in there, whatever spirit's in there doesn't like you to be in there. So we turned off all the lights, and I sat in there, and supposedly you're supposed to get like just a really uneasy feeling, and like you get scratched and touched and stuff. And I was in there, I think maybe like 2-3 minutes, all the lights off, and I was just like, come on, do something. And I didn't even get a feeling, like I got more just frustrated because it was hot. And then we just ended up just leaving. But I think one of the weirdest things about that location though is we had left the voice recorder down in the dressing area where I guess the girls used to get ready back in the day for performances. And it's just like it's a small like wood floor room. Has like a little countertop with a mirror. And we had left the voice recorder in there, and I remember at one point all of us were upstairs. Nobody was down there, and you could hear like someone walking from a distance into that room, and it sounded like they walked up, kind of looked around, and then noticed the voice recorder, and then walked out. But nobody was down because we had a camera set up down facing that direction, and nobody was down there at that time. And you can clearly hear, footsteps walking on the wood floor. I think that was like the best footage that audio that we got out of that place because everything else just nothing came up.
Dude.
But I mean, another thing is like it's on a major road, so any type of audio recorders you leave throughout that place, you're gonna pick up a lot of traffic with the cars going by, which kind of messes everything up. Like there, you kind of just have to get things right there on the spot while you're there. But
Yeah.
I think we definitely need to go back. Just because, like they say, it's always good to investigate a place multiple times because it might be a hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like you don't know. So I definitely want to go back. I want to go to every place that we've gone to at least 2-3 times, just so that way we can get a sense of how things are in each individual time that we go.
Right.
Like we've gone to the Doña Ana County Jail. I've been there like 4 times already, and each time it's always something new. Like the last time we went, I got touched. I got nauseous. Like I felt like something just definitely didn't want me to be there, and like I had to like walk outside and take a break at one point because
I said, "You've been here enough. We tried to get you out already 3
yeah,
times."
like it was like,
So
come on, dude, you're back again.
I'm not familiar with that, and I guess I said it wrong. Is it Doniera, or how do you say it?
Doña Ana.
Doniana? Okay, so I'm not familiar with that one at all, man.
So that one, it's a jail out there in Las Cruces, New Mexico, which is like about a 30-40 minute drive for us. So it's,
Okay.
it's super close. That place has a lot of history. There's been like satanic rituals done there. Supposedly a girl got kidnapped and murdered down there, like a sacrifice. You can still see blood on the walls. Just it's your typical jail. There was inmates murdered there, suicides that took place. Just that whole location, like even the surrounding location, like back in the day, there was like it has ties to Billy the Kid. What's a lot of like this region does, like anywhere like you go, like there's always a story about Billy the Kid or
Right.
Pancho Villa or something like that, because this is where there's like their territory, But it has a rich history, and just like any jail that you go investigate, you're gonna have stories like that, So I think it's a 3-story building, and then you have a basement. I've never been to the basement. The last time we went, we was the first time we had access to it. But when it happened to me up on the 3rd floor, it just kind of just made me just not want to even go down to the basement anymore to investigate it because, like at that point, I was just done. I was already exhausted from
What
how
happened
I
on the first
felt.
floor?
Well, there's certain spots throughout that building where they say that they have some type of shadow spirits there.
Mhm.
And up on the 3rd floor, it's like a little closet room. It's always a closet room somewhere, that has some type of crazy spirit in it. But we were up there, and we were walking up the stairs to get up to the 3rd floor from where we're at, because our base station was in the courtroom, which was on the 2nd floor. And we were walking up the stairs, and right when I got to like the midsection in between the first or the second and the 3rd floor, I felt something like push my back.
Right.
So I turned around, and Carlos and Stephanie, another 2 members of our team, were barely walking up towards me. So there was nobody around me when I got touched. And then I told them, hey, something touched my back, like right here. And then Carlos got kind of pushed over. Like he almost stumbled coming up the steps.
Dude.
And then right after that, we started walking up towards the 3rd floor door. And I just got right when I opened up that door, I just instantly got nauseous. Like I felt like the room was spinning. Like it was a really intense feeling. And then I tried to walk it off, and then it got to the point where I couldn't. I had to just stop and kind of just collect myself. And I felt like whatever was doing that just did not want me up there, like at all. So then we walked over to where the room was, where they said the shadow spirit was. I was asking questions. I was definitely being like super polite because I didn't want to have another situation like how we had in Yorktown and just have something just like give me a streak of bad luck again.
Right.
So I was asking questions. We were kind of just like lights out with everything. We were kind of just running on night vision, like throughout the whole time that we were there. I wanted to really keep like the natural feeling and the mood of the building. I didn't want to bring out any lights or anything like that to kind of scare any spirits away and stuff like that. I think that kind of helped out with throughout the whole investigation. especially because of this situation. And just out of nowhere, uh, and I was wearing I think I was wearing a beanie at the time, and something just flicked my earlobe, and my ears were completely covered with the beanie. You know,
I be
and
going,
I
man.
kind of I turned around and I asked Carlos, I was like, "Did you just touch me?" And he was like, "No, man." He was like 3 feet away from me. I was like, "Dude, something just like clearly flicked my ear." And then again, right after that, like I started getting like a really uneasy feeling, and I just wrapped it up after that. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm sorry if I upset you. We're gonna go back downstairs. Please don't follow us. Like, definitely do not follow me. And
Right.
we went back down, and we went back to the courtroom where we had everything set up. And when I got back in there, I kind of started feeling a little bit better, but then I still felt like a lot of uneasiness. So then I told him, I was like, I have to get out of this building for a little bit, So we went outside, and Stephanie was just recording me. Like, she's like, talk to me, like, tell me what you're feeling. She's like, this is good stuff. And I felt like so sick. Maybe like 5 minutes after we were outside, I felt like myself again. I felt better. And I think we're outside maybe like 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, you know what? We got to go back in and kind of start wrapping up the night and see what else we can get before we take off. Right when I got back in, it just, all those feelings came back. And I was like, God, dude, like something just does not want me here right now. So we kind of tried to do as best as we could after that. I was kind of just like lost at that point. Like, I didn't really know what to do. So we kind of poked around a little bit. I definitely wanted to go to the basement, but I was just like, you know what? Whatever's up there, if it can do that right now, like I don't know what's downstairs in the basement that could probably either do the same or worse, or if it might be the same entity.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that. And I remember our guy David, before he left, he was like, "You guys got to hit up the basement before you leave because it has been super active the last couple of days. Like you guys will definitely get good stuff." And he's like, "Whatever's down there does not want anybody down there at all, and it's gonna let you know right away when you go." And I was like, if I already felt crazy like up on the third floor, like why? Why am I gonna go down there again and it make it worse right now? I was like, I could leave that for another time.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing an Estes again in the courtroom. Again, I got touched. Something like it felt like something like kind of like brushed and slapped my thigh. Like if you see the video, I jolt up super quick, and I take off the blindfold and everything, and then Carlos is like right in my face after trying to see what's wrong, and so then he spooked me,
Oh man.
and I was like, dude, why are you so close right now?
Yeah. Dude.
And right after that, we kind of just packed everything up and took off because it was already getting to that time where we had to leave. But like I was again with that one, I was kind of disappointed because I didn't build myself up with the nerves to go down to the basement. But like I said, like I was telling Carlos and Steph, like we can come here anytime we want to.
Yeah.
Like why push it right now? Like with the way I'm feeling now, like I don't know what kind of spirits are here. Like we know the history, but we don't really know exactly what's there. We don't know the capabilities of what those spirits can do to us. So I was already kind of feeling kind of weak at that time. And I definitely didn't want anything to try to manipulate myself or my mind or my body. So I just called it a night
Right, man.
and I took off. And like I'll go back another day, man, and see if we can get access to the basement and do, a whole episode down there. But like I definitely feel like I'm not gonna put myself in a situation to where it's gonna like affect me like that, or if I bring anything home that's gonna affect my family,
Right.
you know. So I
Well, we
think
definitely
kind of
we definitely have to do a here with us Supernatural Quest Seekers team up, man, here in the future.
yeah, definitely, man.
Absolutely. I don't know should we meet like in a midpoint or what do you guys think?
Dude, you already know what I'm gonna say. We gotta go to Mineral Wells and hit up that Hill House.
Oh, dude, I'm down for the Hill House. Let me know. I'll hop on 10 right now, dude, and be there in like 10 hours. But I want to thank you guys for coming on, sharing your information with us or your stories. and experiences. I look forward to having you guys on the show again, man. Maybe if we get another topic or something, like I'm wanting to do like a gear review or like a kind of what to put in your kit for hunting.
Yeah,
So I love your guys' insight, because I know you guys have a lot of great information, a lot of good tactics that you use too. But where can everybody find you guys at?
You can find us on our webpage. It's www.supernaturalquestseekers.com, or you can just type in facebook.com/supernaturalquestseekers, and we're there. Same for YouTube, Supernatural Quest Seekers. You can Google us. All our pages show up right there as well.
All right, man. And I'll link you guys in the comments as well. When do you guys have a schedule for when you post?
No, not currently. I've been in the process of moving and everything, so getting everything set up. So
Well, I'll tell everybody right now, go check out that Hill House video, man.
yeah.
Teddy will have you questioning whether you're a true ghost hunter or not. But hey, I want to say thank you guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Alrighty,
Yes, sir.
see ya.